European football was back earlier this week with 7 Premier League teams involved. It was a good outing for the teams except for the Merseyside clubs. Liverpool were held by Seville in the Champions League while Everton were humiliated 3-0 by Atlanta. Liverpool faced Burnley while Everton had the daunting task of playing Manchester United at Old Trafford. The blockbuster match of the week saw champions Chelsea host Arsenal on Sunday at Stamford Bridge. The match week also saw unbeaten Watford face Pep Guardiola's high-flying Manchester City, while Spurs took on Swansea at Wembley. So then, here is a summary of the weekend with 10 talking points from the game week number 5. Number 1. Eddie Howe catches a break. Bournemouth, promoted in 2015 to the Premier League, finished a very respectable 9th last year, above the likes of reigning champions Leicester City, West Ham United and West Bromwich Albion. Young manager Eddie Howe won plaudits for the team's rise. This season though has been a different story altogether. Out of the 4 games before this weekend, they lost 3 and drew the other one, conceding 9 in the process. Even in this match against Brighton, they were 1-0 down in the 55th minute. But they turned it around and Jordan Ibe ran the show as Surman and the returning German Defoe helped Bournemouth turn it around and grab the 3 points. Number 2. Roy Hodgson? Seriously? Steve Parish, the Crystal Palace owner, while appointing Dutchman Frank de Boer, said that the club needed an evolution over a period of time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bullshit 101. About a month into the season and Roy Hodgson has been appointed as the manager of the club. Basically, Parish has given up on evolution after just 4 games and changed it to surviving the Premier League. Hodgson's first match as manager was against Southampton, which they ended up losing 1-0. The manager asked for patience from the fans, but probably he forgot that the man that appointed him is not a very big fan of patience. Number 3. The curse of the international break. Liverpool seem to have been stuck in a rut, and the reason seems to be the World Cup qualifiers. Wait, what? Before the international break, they were on a good run of games and bamboozled Arsenal 4-0. After the World Cup qualifiers, the cohesion seems to have gone away. 3 games in 2 competitions and they are yet to attain the efficiency and the fluency of the Arsenal route. Against Burnley, they had 35 shots out of which 9 were on target and yet the match ended 1-1. Jurgen Klopp needs to arrest this slump of form and fast. Number 4. Jamal Lascelles leading from the front. After a terrible start to their comeback campaign, Newcastle United have got their season back on track. 3 wins on the trot has seen them jump up to 4th in the league. Rafael Benitez's first target would be Premier League safety, and 3 wins on the trot is a very good start to that objective. Captain Lascelles has been at the forefront of this mini revival. He scored the winner against Swansea last week and scored the winner against Stoke on Saturday. Only 23 years of age, the future is bright for the player born in Derby. Spurs blank at Wembley again. Mauricio Pochettino needs to solve his side's mental block at Wembley. The Londoners face Swansea City at their temporary home. Let's see at some of the stats of the club in the match. 75% possession, 26 shots with 8 on target, 11 corners. And yet they were unable to find the back of the net after 90 minutes. The last time that Spurs were unable to score at home was in January 2016 when they lost 1-0 to Leicester City. They have 16 more home games this season, and if the Wembley curse isn't dealt with, Pochettino's team might be looking at Europa League next season. Manchester City, irresistible and ruthless. After the final demolition job of Liverpool last weekend, Watford were put to the sword by Pep Guardiola's men. 3 goals in each half destroyed Watford as the Hornets weren't able to cope up with the sensational attacking chemistry of the Manchester City lineup. Sergio Aguero scored his 6th Premier League hat-trick, spearheading the demolition job. At the start of the season, it was Manchester United who were laying down the marker, but after 5 games, it seems that the blue side of Manchester have taken over that mantle with Aguero and Gabriel Jesus leading the charge. Number 7. Pulsating London Derby. The big match of the weekend saw Antonio Conte's champions take on Arsene Wenger's men at Stamford Bridge. The Gunners came into the match with a 5-game losing streak at the bridge. The match was pretty entertaining as both sides conjured up great attacking moves despite having their star players Eden Hazard and Alexis Sanchez watch from the bench. There was hardly anything to choose between the two sides as Pedro and Lacazette missed good chances to score. David Luiz received a straight red for a high tackle on Kolasinac late in on the match, but the Gunners were unable to capitalize as the match ended 0-0. Number 8. Weekend of Reunions. This week saw a lot of players return to face their old clubs. Some of them had good outings, some not so much, while others had an okay week. Saturday saw Tottenham Hotspur face Swansea City. This match saw Fernando Llorente face his old club Swansea. The match ended in a draw, so it was not bad for either party. Sunday's action saw Everton visit Manchester United. Wayne Rooney, Manchester United's highest goal scorer, played for Everton, while Romelu Lukaku, Everton's highest goal scorer, played for Manchester United. Marouane Fellaini also featured for United against his old club. Morgan Sandlin and Michael Keane returned to their former employers. The match ended 4-0 to Manchester United, so obviously it was not a very good outing for Keane, Rooney and Sandlin, while Lukaku and Fellaini had an excellent weekend. Number 9. Master of the late goals. The Red Devils were at it again. Sir Alex Ferguson teams always fought till the end and on most occasions scored crucial late goals. The spirit seems to have returned to the club as United scored 3 out of their 4 goals against Everton after the 80th minute. 9 of the 16 goals they have scored in the league thus far have been after the 80th minute. Another stat, 38% of the total goals scored after the 80th minute in the Premier League this season has been by Manchester United. They tire out their opponents and then pounce after the opponents have been left high and dry. Number 10. Ronald Koeman on the brink. A 1-0 scoreline turned into 4-0 very quickly, forcing Koeman into taking cover. His side were trounced in the end and never really looked in getting anything out of the game at Old Trafford. Koeman spent £140 million on the transfer window, and before the season started, fans hoped of a competitive season in the league. Sure, it takes time for the team to gel, but they have faced Spurs, Chelsea and United this season and lost 2-0, 3-0 and 4-0 respectively. This tells a story, one which Everton owners are definitely not gonna like. The side face Bournemouth next and they need to turn things around, or else Koeman could be the second Dutchman in the Premier League this season to be sacked. That wraps up this week's edition of the 10 talking points from the Premier League weekend. Before we end, let's take a look at the Premier League table. On the very top are the teams from Manchester with 4 wins each. They also remain the only unbeaten sides in the league. Chelsea and Newcastle and 3rd or 4th respectively. At the bottom are Everton, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, who have 0 points and 0 goals. That is all for this week. Hope you liked the video. Be sure to like, share and subscribe to the channel for regular updates. Until next time, this is Abhimanyu signing off.